Alright, what we got here is something cool, new, and exciting. Last night on TPX, Malkin had this awesome idea, which I then named, and then Tubes spelled it correctly, and then Gold was just there being the best battler on the chat at the time, so we're going to throw him in there as well. And this is an adherence battle. Pretty much the basic tenet is that all 6 of your guys are choiced, so I'll just leave it at that. I'm going to start off with Scarf Nidoking, which is a guy I usually start off with anyway, because I want Toxic Spikes up. I only really want 1 layer, and I'm only really going to get 1 layer because he's a Specs Metagross with Psychic, so down goes my King, but I only wanted the 1 layer of Toxic Spikes up, so I'm A-okay with that. If I had 2 layers up, then they would need to stay in, I think, like 4 turns for it to be better than normal poison, so I'd rather have normal poison up because I'm expecting lots of switches because guys are choiced. So, Flamethrower is what I'm going to go with here. He goes into an H2 Overkill trying to predict a Surf, but Flamethrower is also resisted. I do get a critical hit, which makes up for the resistance there. And yeah, Poison dealing another 8. It's essentially Stealth Rock when they switch in. So, it's Stealth Rock, but it's Poison, I guess, and it's another bout of Stealth Rock every turn they stay in. I guess you can think of it that way. So, Bass doesn't exactly take a Surf that well, however. But I'm definitely going to go for damage on there as he's stuck on Surf and he's not going to 2-hit KO. Works out to perfection as he sends in Flareon, which I do get a critical hit, but Flareon's defense, physical defense, is kind of its weak point, so I don't think I needed it. And I know there were several times throughout both of these that I would knock a Pokemon down to like about an 8th and then the Poison would finish it off, so it's like essentially acting like Stealth Rock there, which is awesome. I don't want Bass to take a, whatever it is, Ice Beam. Yeah, definitely not an Ice Beam. So Ice Beam or Tri-Attack, I'll go to Hardman to resist either, and that's not exactly resisting either. That's 1/4 of the damage that it should have dealt if it was hitting neutral, and it still did like over a third. So I'm not quite sure if it's Specs or Scarf just yet. I'm definitely fearing Scarf. And unfortunately I miss on a head smash, which would have clobbered him and saved me about 100 life. But fortunately he does switch out. I expected him to go to Metagross, especially after seeing the head smash. But, you know, I wanted to do about a third. It did about a third, so I guess Hardman kind of did his job. This is my Scarf Hardman, by the way. I'm pretty sure I'll outspeed. And hopefully hit it with a head smash? Nope, I'm not going to hit it with a head smash. And I'm not going to live the Psychic either because it's Specs. So I went, what was that, 1 for 3 on head smash. So I need to go EV train some more accuracy. Ugh. Think about who to go to here. He is stuck on Psychic, so Slowking again would be a pretty decent choice. But I'm going to go to Punk because I know I can scare him off with an Earthquake. And whatever he goes to, Rampardo's Earthquake is going to roll it. If he had a Flyer or a Levitator, well, Levitate wouldn't matter. But if he had a Flyer, I think he would have already gone to it. And this thing comes in, which is cool, because I get that thing dead. And, it's, well, I guess, I don't know, does Vaporeon have Energy Ball? I don't know. I think Slowking probably had that one okay. So, anyway, here's this rabbit from the sea that is gonna rip holes in my team, and I go to King hoping that I can resist it pretty well, and I resist it well enough that I'll live 2 hits, so that's all I was really looking for out of that. Hopefully get off a Specs Psychic. I think about this for a long time, because I don't want him to go to Metagross. I have 3 moves I can use. I can use Power Gem, Psychic, and Flamethrower. Flamethrower is better if he switches, Psychic is better if he doesn't. But I take the middle option in Power Gem, which is kind of a novelty move anyway. And no Malkin Gold. I did not break Nickname Clause, which isn't even a real clause, just in VGC and stuff. Because as you can see, the King is in a different font. It's a Japanese named King. But anyway. Yeah, so I just Power Gem that. You know, obviously it would have been better there if I had Psychic, but I don't know. Maybe that kept him from going to Metagross there? I'm not sure. Since he is stuck on Waterfall now, I know he will not Aqua Jet, and I'm guessing he's banded. He could be Scarfed. I'm not exactly sure what the relative speeds of Rampardos and Azumarill are. I didn't bother to check that. But regardless, I'm going to go for an Earthquake, because that's what I want to... Well, my other move is Zen Headbutt. I'm not going to go for that. And then my other move is Endeavor, which I'm not going to go for at full HP. And that right there is amazing. just knocking him down to like a little under an eighth, and then bam, poison takes effect as soon as he switches in, and he is out of there, and that's awesome. It's pretty much just like Stealth Rock. Looking at that much HP, that looks like it's at 1/4 plus 2, so he takes another eighth from poison, and yeah, it looks like now it's at 1/8 plus 1, so fantastic. I let Drillman go in there just for death fodder, so that he can, you know, live one Aqua Jet, which obviously I saw coming with Rampardos out there. And now I just need Bass to live a hit so that poison can take this guy out, and it does. Well, actually, Bass lives the hit and then takes him out with Earthquake, which means he now sees what I'm stuck onto. But again, I haven't seen anything that is gonna fly over Earthquake, despite the fact that Porygon Z looks like it's in the air, but apparently it's not, as it's affected by Toxic Spikes. So, pretty much regardless of what he picks here, he goes with Thunderbolt, which is, I think, yeah, probably the best move he could use. And it's gonna be down to, after some more poison damage, it's gonna be down to, I'm expecting him to be Scarfed, and it's gonna come down to, will this Thunderbolt paralyze? I got a 90% chance to win the game because I've got the Metagross. Oh, but I got a Parahax! So Mal comes in with a Parahax. Nuzlocke Emote Strip is not happy. Take out the PZ with the EQ, but not for the Parahax here, because this thing I'm pretty sure is Spexed. I was also sort of expecting Bullet Punch, but he has Flash Cannon, so I guess no Bullet Punch. And alack, the Paralysis loses me the game, so that was pretty awesome, really tight match. So Malk takes this round, and now we're going to have another battle right afterwards against Gold. So yeah, that was absolutely amazing. Came down to a T-Bolt Paralysis for whoever won that one. So I almost call that one an even right there, but you know, all down to the hacks. So I can't believe Malk won on hacks. That's kind of impressive. Anyway, that was so good, I had to have another one. So fortunately, Gold was hanging around. I think him and Tubes did the first one. So here we go with my second one. And right off the bat, this is the same team. I forgot to put on Seals this match too, which makes me upset. But anyway, I see Raichu. It'd be nice if he switched out. I'm a little afraid of a Specs HP Ice. I have every intention of going for Toxic Spikes again. And that is indeed when I get off. And I see Suicune. I'm like, drat. Do I want to stay in and try to set up a second layer because I wouldn't mind getting Toxic on Suicune? But oh wait! It's not going to be a wall Suicune because it's, you know, got Specs or Scarf or something. So I'm pretty content to just, you know, stay with the one layer. I think overall it's going to be the better choice. And I go to King. By the way, I think 3 guys on this team. Let's see, Aggron, Rampardos, and Nidoking, all weak to water. I picked a horrible assortment of guys. But oh, this was fun. So he wants to switch out because he's stuck on Hydro Pump and can't do much to King. And once again, just like Espeon, that Toxic Spikes essentially acts like Stealth Rock and takes off that last 1/8 that I couldn't quite get it down with that Spec Psychic. So pretty freaking sweet. And in comes this Jinx. I quickly pull out my trusty Diamond and Pearl Pokedex Player's Guide and confirm that Jinx doesn't have Thunderbolt, but it has Energy Ball, which is probably even worse because I have Rhyperior, and that's not very happy for me. So in comes Hardman, as he's probably the best thing I have to hope that he's Spexed, and then I can outspeed him with Scarf, maybe. I think this thing does end up to be Scarfed, however, and I'm not exactly sure. I think this thing hits like 299 speed or some crap like that because he's adamant. Really need to have Jolly Aggron, even though Jolly Aggron's kind of a stupid thing because Aggron's not jolly. He's the baddest mother lover in the world. But yeah, that's probably a better thing for Scarf. So he goes down to 2 Energy Balls, which makes me sad, and I currently have like very little to do to this thing. But since it is stuck on Energy Ball, Bass can come in and not take too much from it if he decides to stay in. But I just want to go for the obvious Leaf Blade. I've seen Suicune, so I'm threatened by that. And I don't know what else he could go to, but hopefully it's something that'll get poisoned. And unfortunately, my little Stealth Rock-ish Toxic Spikes here once again leave a guy with like 1 hit point. So I gotta go to someone to take a hit. I decide that that's going to be King, which may not be the best choice, but he definitely took the least amount of damage from it. I don't know if I wanted to sacrifice that. I didn't see how many hit points that was. It was at least 50 to 100, somewhere in that range. It was not too bad. I was expecting to take maybe a little bit more. I don't know if that was a Scarf Hitmonchan or what. And anyway, Poison takes him out, and in comes Ape. Great. Ape has like every move in the game, but he's only going to be able to use one of them at a time, so that's something to keep in mind. I go out to King because King can handle a Grass Knot, he can handle Fire, he can handle Fighting, and he can handle U-turn pretty well too. And he's Scarfed and maybe can outspeed him and use an Earthquake, who knows. Forewarn alerts to Head Smash, which is... I think Smogon still doesn't have Head Smash listed on Nidoking's moveset, but yeah, he does get it. I'm hoping that he is Specs and not Scarfed, and this is, I think, when I find out that yes, he is Scarfed, and he is going to be locked on Ice Beam, which is not so happy for me. My Aggron's dead, that was my Ice Resistance, not that it was going to resist it very well. And in comes Punk. Now, Rampardos does have, like, well over 300 life, even without EV investment, so I'm hoping that Rampardos is going to be able to live this and retaliate with something. Otherwise, it's going to be going out to King, probably Slow King again, to try to live it. And fortunately he does, with 16 hit points, and is able to take out Miss Racist over there. So we're racist down here in Abalama, apparently, as we're slaughtering Blackface / Ganguro things that have fancy scarves. But we're stuck on Earthquake now, and once again, Gold, fortunately, has nothing that's going to be a flyer, which flyers and levitators would have screwed me up so bad because of my reliance on Toxic Spikes. So, fortunately, that neither of them had either one. And Signal Beam is on this thing, which is, okay. So I guess that means that Bass isn't going to be as safe as I thought, but Drillman is going to be relatively safe against a Signal Beam. It'll be neutral damage, but I'm going to be able to hit something really freaking hard with a Choice Banded Earthquake, and this dude's got more attack power than Garchomp, because I think this thing is adamant, right? Yeah, this thing's adamant. I'm hoping I'm going to pull off that little, knock him down to 1/8 and then Poison finishes him off, but not quite. He's got an 1/8 left. I've got to go to somebody to take a hit, which is likely going to be a Waterfall, and therefore I'm going to go to King to take it. And he ends up to go for Aqua Jet instead, so that saves me a couple hit points there as Poison finishes him off. And now it's getting really dicey. He's got 2 guys left. I've got 3, but he's got 2 really good OU guys. He's got Suicune and Infernape. I've got, Slow King, Rhyperior, and Sceptile. I play through a ton of scenarios in my mind, and I decide that the best shot I have to win right here is if he U-turns. If he Grass Knots, that, if he Grass Knots, obviously the best move is to go to Sceptile, but Grass Knot is good against 2 of my 3 guys, but I've just got to hope he doesn't have it. He did show me U-turn earlier, so hopefully he's Physical Ape and Banded. He may be Scarfed. I'm not sure if I ever find that out, but I've got to go. I'm going to play for the win and go to Drillman, hope he U-turns, and yes, he does U-turn. That's what I wanted him to do, because now he can go into Suicune, go for a Hydro Pump, which I'm going to go right back to King for, and then I'm going to have some sort of initiative, I feel like anyway, that way. So that was the mind game that was going through my head, and so far it's going exactly according to plan. Go back to King. It'd be nice if this Hydro Pump missed, but it doesn't. However, King is amazing and lives it anyway because Slow King has excellent special defense, and this is Scarf Suicune, not Specs. The second Hydro Pump, however, does hit, which, so, no retribution for the Parahacks against Malk. I guess I'll have to get that one back later. But more damage on this thing, and so here comes Bass, and I have Thunder Punch I could use, Leaf Blade I could use, but he's stuck on Hydro Pump, so I think I'm not going to be too afraid of this thing. So I'm just going to Earthquake, hopefully for a 2-hit KO, and then... what? He switches in Ape. I was thinking that he may try to, let the Suicune die, and then come in with a Scarf Flare, I don't know. But that's not what he did. I guess he didn't have any move that could kill Infernape or kill Sceptile and Rhyperior, which maybe close combat, but I think Rhyperior at full health probably would have lived one of those with Solid Rock. So I'm able to get the Infernape out of here, and now it's looking a lot better for sure. I'm actually able to live an Ice Beam with 33 hit points. And is this where I find out he was Scarfed? Maybe. But 33 hit points for the live is awesome, but then he lives this with a little bit more than I needed him to. However, Poison will take him out on this turn, and I forget if like he kills me if Poison still works on him, like if I think Leech Seed. I think that's Leech Seed I was thinking of. Or if you kill something, you know, you don't take the damage. So I went up to Drillman to make sure that, you know, I got a 2-0 victory out of it, and to make sure that he took that poison damage. So that was absolutely awesome. Though I'm really, oh wow, I really love these two. So these are called Adherence battles, and yeah, just pick 6 guys who have choice items. Please avoid trying to Smogonize this too. Like, don't try to plan meta games for it, or use like Torment and stuff, and you know, try to have some fun with it. Don't just have, you know, CB Scizor and stuff that's like Scarfed Outrage. You know, try to have some fun. That's kind of the whole point of this. I definitely was having more fun predicting stuff in this than I have in pretty much any game I've played all year, I think. So your predictions are definitely much more important on this when you're you've got to predict pretty much everything right. So I definitely recommend trying out some of these. They are absolutely a blast. And I will catch you guys later days.